Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Brand podcast. My name is Curtis, and I am the host. And join with me today, we've got a brand new business in what I like to call the hot seat. We have Tamsin.
Hello.
From Filtered Management. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Have I just said your business name right?
You've said it perfectly.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
I was looking at it and I was like, Filtered Management, just in case I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Now, we are no strangers.
No.
We were just discussing off the camera and off the mics
Yes.
that we've known each other for probably the best part of about 20 years.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get in.
Yes, I know, because God love you. You messaged me right at the start, and it obviously never materialised. My
Yeah,
bad.
I know.
My
I just got pushed to the side.
I'd never ghost anybody. I promise. I'd never ghost anybody. Pretty sure there's
Just
people
me.
out there. No, I promise. So this is obviously a podcast all about businesses and finding out exactly what businesses do. And I'm very intrigued to hear what you do, because I obviously see your social stuff and Instagram and things like that. So I'd love to know just a wee bit more about what you do and some of the services and stuff that you offer as well. So for anybody listening, they'd be like, that would actually benefit me. Before we do get into all that sort of stuff, what we like to do is we get everybody basically to introduce themselves.
Oh gosh.
Because we need to know exactly who we're listening to and who, you know what I mean? The whole reason is called Behind the Brand.
Yep.
And we want to find out who you are.
Okay.
Because I'm going to ask you something after you've did this. All right, so if you could just let the lovely people listening or watching know who you are.
Well, I'm Tamsin. Do you want the full background of
Go for it. Aye.
full? Yeah, so I own obviously Filtered Management, and which is a social media company, and I'm just a girl from Glasgow, and my background is actually doing musical theatre, which is how we know each other, Curtis, because back in the day we went to Pace drama school, and I just ended up in love with that, so went the whole route of musical theatre and thought, this is not for me, let's get into something a bit more meaty that I can grow with, that's still creative, because I'm a very creative person.
Yeah.
And that's the really short story of how I thought, let's do something creative, let's stay in business, let's make money. And now I'm doing social media management.
And working for yourself.
And working for myself, thankfully,
Which is a pure bonus.
Oh my goodness, it's the best thing in the world. And it's actually when I was pregnant with my child, I thought, I am not going to miss out anything of his life. That was one of my main driving forces. And I thought, I cannot go back to work where they're like, you need to ask for time off for sports day, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I need to be free here. So I just made it my goal that I would be my own boss by the end of the pregnancy. So I literally was a mad woman. I was literally, the day I was giving birth, I was still working. But I was like, I am not going back to an office.
Doing the content.
yeah, literally. So yeah, it's very good working for myself. It's one of the perks.
100%. And I think like that, you pick your hours, you decide what you're doing, when you're doing it, where you're going to do it as well. And
but
I think
it's quite funny though, Curtis, because everyone always thinks that's the positive, but you actually end up working more than
I was going to say, loud on your phone at night when you try to sleep, like twitching.
I don't never take a full day off, never take a week off. So it does have its.
So how do you manage the balance then?
I have an awful balance. So if anyone else needs to give some advice on the balance, then I'm not the person to.
I was going to say, I think there was somebody in here that did that whole thing. It wasn't a guest on this podcast, but they did that whole how they can bring balance to your life and stuff with work and things. I could probably benefit myself, to be fair. Yeah. Have I bothered to do anything about it? No.
I think sometimes with your driven and your mind goes, it's so hard to switch off. And even like you were talking, you've got like 100 things on the go right now. Like if your mind is like that, how do you switch it off?
I just feel like I look at it now, and if I'm not keeping myself busy and I'm not trying to get better at everything that I'm doing, I'm like, what's the point?
Exactly.
Because I don't want to wake up one day and basically be like, I should have did that.
Exactly. And now's the time. We're young, we're striving.
Oh, when they say I'm young.
We are young. We are. But I think it's worse as well because obviously the phone thing, which is like my game as well, like I can pick it up anywhere, which is like, oh, that's brilliant, you can work anywhere.
How do you shut off?
You don't. Do you know, like you don't. And I'm like, oh, I should just reply to that quickly, I should just do it. And that's probably the danger now because our generation before, obviously social media and everything, you went to work, you stopped, you went home and you had your free time. Like now, most companies, anyone working never stops.
I know.
And I think that's probably a downfall of our...
I think I find as well, like a lot of companies as well, and some probably listen to this are probably like, that doesn't happen in my workplace.
It probably does.
It probably does. But a lot of them now have their phones on them. Whereas I remember being young and basically being told, like, I've worked in so many retail places, clothes shops. I've even worked at McDonald's for a bit when one of my jobs went bust, and then left that place to go and start doing the gigging for about 10 years. Basically, they were always like, no, phone in the locker.
Yep, 100%.
Whereas now it's such a big distraction.
It's huge. And actually, like, to just do a wee bit of jumping, everyone always asks me for social media, when's the best time to post on social media? The world we're living in, everyone has their phone on no matter what time. Do you know, it used to be like, obviously, like before work or after the working hour or lunchtime, because that's when people were allowed their phone. Now you sit at a desk, people have their phone, they're scrolling through, they shouldn't be, but they are, you know, so it's everyone's
I'm
got
so
it.
guilty for it. I am so guilty
Everyone
for it.
is.
Especially when you've got that, like, you've just done a task. So I do a lot of like admin sort of stuff as well. And when I'm finished the admin bit, I'll quickly look at my phone.
Yep.
And what I'll find is I'll be like slipping through TikTok, Instagram Reels.
TikTok's the worst.
Because it's just a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you just get stuck for hours. But yeah, it's dangerous. So yeah, there's perks to running your own business, but there's obviously humongous life. It changes your life.
How did you get started then with this? So obviously I know you were saying about doing were you studying musical theatre and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I went to study musical theatre. I went down to Guildford to study musical theatre.
I was going to say, I remember you going down south.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to be famous.
I'm gonna be in Broadway.
Yeah, I'm going to be Broadway. And then I realised it's not. Hats off to everyone in that industry because it's...
Is that tough?
Oh my goodness.
It's one thing I've regretted, because you'll obviously know, you'll know me, and you've probably been the same thing, was that I regretted not taking that a bit further. Yeah,
you should. You definitely should have. You had like because I think you need like a bit of charisma, a bit of, like a bit of spark.
I did so much stuff when I was younger that I think, and this sounds terrible, I probably resented it.
Well, that's
I got to a certain point when I was getting older, and I was like,
that's me now.
Enough of this.
That's me now. I really struggle to even like watch a musical or watch, because I'm like, I cannot stand at all. I mean, all my friends are in it, and I think I'm in awe of what they do.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
But when you start it at such a young age and you're doing it every day, the love of it completely goes, and that's what happened to me. The love, I was just like, I can't stand this industry, everything about it.
I think as well, like I mentioned it in another podcast or whatever, I can't remember who I was speaking to, but like at the time of that sort of point, doing all that sort of stuff, I grew up obviously Pollock. That was rough as toast.
Well,
man.
I also because it was very unusual. It was always like girl heavy, very very girl heavy.
I was only getting the dancing.
Yep.
And then going to pace and stuff from there. So I transitioned from dancing to like drama, musical theatre sort of stuff.
Yep.
And as much as I didn't do dancing anyway, the not nice part of it still carried with me through the whole time. Yeah. Even though I was in an environment where people thrived on that sort of stuff.
Yeah. No, I do remember that, because it's not what it is now, where it's like very diverse. It was back then. It was very, very, very abnormal for a young guy from Pollock to... I
look at myself, I watch videos of myself then, and I'm like, as I say, that whole resentment thing, I'm like, I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it makes me cringe a wee touch, but I'm
but
like...
it's skills as well, because you wouldn't be able to sit right now and...
I couldn't do this if I didn't do it.
Exactly. And I think that about myself as well, like, and that's what I think makes me like stand out at what I do, is because I've got all the tools, like the creative tools, the confidence, the that it gives you, the discipline. So it happens for a reason. So that it was meant to be on the path.
I'm so sorry, I butted right in there.
I can't even remember what we're talking about.
It was basically how this started. So obviously you were saying that obviously you were doing the musical theatre and things like that. But there must have been something you did one day, or something that you must have seen where you were like, that is...
So this is crazy, because I was after musical theatre, I was very lost. I was like, what the hell do I do? I didn't like stick in school because I was like, I'm going to be famous. So there was nothing that I was like, I can fall back on that. So I worked at a dog shop, Wizard of Paws, who are my very good friends. They picked me up a couple of times and gave me a job when I've been like, help. And then I thought, listen, marketing would be quite good, because I just thought it was sales and creative. So I started as a junior marketer. And just before, I think my timings are hard, of when I think I was struggling of what to do in my life, and I was looking through LinkedIn at companies I wanted to work for, and I wanted to work for a fun company. That's all I knew, a fun company that I was passionate about, because I get really bored easily. So my ideas turned to like, Polly, because it was a Glasgow-based company. It was fashion, and I thought they'd be a really good brand to work with. And I was looking at their LinkedIn at what kind of roles I thought I can get in as a wee junior and assistant and work my way up. And they were looking for AR filters. So for those who don't know what do
you know that I'm so glad you mentioned this, because I'm looking. I've got your profile.
Yeah, does it say it?
I was like,
what is that?
Instagram AR filters.
Yes.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so it's basically, you know, when you put a filter on your Instagram photo or your video, you know, when you go to a story and the things pop out, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't know much about them either. All I knew is it made me have a smooth face and no spots. But Polly needed an AR filter. And I went, I want to work with them. How the hell do you make an AR filter? So I stayed up all night teaching myself, it's like coding, how to make AR filters, and it's not bloody easy. Go and try it because it's really hard.
So I'm saying, I'm like, filters. I'm like,
all night. I didn't sleep because I was like, the next morning I'm sending them up an AR filter, and I'm bagging that job. Anyway, they came back and they loved it, and they were like back and forth. It didn't actually come of anything, but while I was speaking to them, I was like, this is an amazing business that businesses could have their branded AR filters.
Oh yeah.
So that went wild. I started off at the dance school pages because I had a dance school page, and I thought this would be good for dance schools, and I popped it in saying, does anyone want a branded dance school filter? Oh my god, like I was flooded, inundated, and I probably charged pennies, which I'm always like that. I'm really naughty at that. Like I could have made an absolute
bomb. Do you not feel like you do that though when you start up? Like even with this and stuff, and everybody always says to me, they're like, what do you know that you charge something so stupid? And then you look at the other ones that are up in Glasgow, the bigger ones, and they're like, look at what they're charging.
Exactly.
I'm like, I know, but bear in mind, this is the first time I'm running this, and I don't even know if this is going to work or not.
I'm sure it will.
I hope it does. Hope it does. But I'm like, I'm in a very good position where I'm able to offer that. Exactly, because I still want to make it affordable for a client and stuff like that coming in and using the space.
And you have to get your name known, and I do believe that you have to go. Well, I believe some people disagree with it, but I do believe you have to shoot lower to get your name lower out there, and I've always done that. And so that kicked off, and then I started working with these amazing people, and at the side I was doing marketing, so I was learning sales and marketing. And one of my clients who I did my filter with went, "Do you do social media management?" And I went, yeah. I didn't. I went, yeah, I do.
And I manage my own.
Yeah. And I thought, yeah, I do. Because I was doing companies marketing, it was like tech and IT at the side. So I was like, and I did dabble in social media, but it was for big, massive companies. And I thought I could just transfer everything. And I used that business as like a learning platform of how to, because I was studying beside it all, like I was watching loads of YouTubes, like and yeah, I was just learning on the job, to be honest. And see, from then it just like grew arms and legs, and it's like people talk to people
Yep.
And like I've never had to really shout about myself, like, because it's just been word of mouth. I've never been like, please come and so, which is, I'm glad, and it's like my clients always trust me, and yeah, it's just grown, and I'm lucky enough to be sitting here talking that I've made it a full business.
And the thing is, as well, you're not just a social media, management business. You don't just do the AR filters as well, but you also do training.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
It's a massive thing as well.
Well, I get bored easily, Curtis, so I'm like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I like to be a bit different.
But you're evolving though.
Yes, exactly.
Which is what I like with a business.
Exactly.
You're not staying in your lane as such. You know what I mean? You're building the roads around you. Like,
you have to, because even since I started, there wasn't many social media managers when I started. There really wasn't. It was kind of like a new thing that businesses needed. Now I look around and I'm like, oh my God, like floods of people offering that.
Oh, it's massive.
So I'm
Do you
always
think people have realised though how, I'm not saying the job's easy by any stretch, but what people have realised how accessible this is?
Exactly. And it's hard to do right, and I think people then realise that and they're like, oh God, that's a lot. But yeah, it's one of these things that's kind of like PTing kicked off, like, 'cause people are like, I can do that.
I know.
Do you know?
Do you feel like there's a lot of them now?
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but there is a lot of PTs out there, and there's a lot of social media managers out there.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm only one person, and that's a different conversation, because I find it hard to trust people with my work to expand my team. That's why I'm still a one-woman band.
I see a lot of people like that as well. Like, it's not that you can't train someone to be or replicate what you do. It's the trust behind.
I find that really hard.
I think it's easier if you know something, you've been working with them for a while and whatever, and then you transition into that. But especially when someone is looking for social media type jobs and you're like, and they're coming for me, and it's your name at the end of the day,
and I feel,
your business.
I've tried it, putting someone else out under my name, but I just can't. That's not my problem, and I know it hinders me. So I had to think, how can I make more money, grow this with a one-woman person, because I can't take any more clients on. So I thought, training, I can go into different businesses for 2 hours, and then I can make a wee income stream of that, because I physically can't take any more clients on as a one person. So that again kicked off, because I realised that people are just winging it. Like, they are. Even in these big companies, they have a marketing team. No one's there to train them how to do social media. They're just winging it. With like a lot of people in life. I was going to say, I know you see that as well. They're always like, want to see your experience and stuff like that. Because I've looked into a couple of like marketing jobs and stuff like that, and just I've always liked the idea of it. But when I see it and I'm like, I don't have the experience behind it as such to jump into something like that as well. But you've obviously built that up by doing what you do. And a lot of it is, I think, like, as well, like, of course, a lot of it is like I said, when that person said, do you do social media management? I said, yes. Did I fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to just dive in the deep end, and I firmly believe that. And I think the only way you can grow is just diving in and just, obviously you can't just dive in and wing it. Like, I dive in and I put the work in, you know, I'm not just, but if someone gives me a challenge, by hell, I'm saying yeah, and I'm doing it. Like,
100%,
it's the only way to grow. So yeah, that kind of, it just kind of grew arms and legs. And the training thing, I love the training thing, because I can literally meet so many people, and I love business. I love hearing about business, and I'm super creative, and I think you can't teach that. You can teach how to do marketing and stats, but you can't teach creativity. And I think that's why I love going into a business and giving my like ideas of how to grow and getting creative. That's the part I love training.
What is the for, like, so somebody listening to this and it's just the ears have pricked up and they're like, oh, that sounds ideal. We're a business, big or small, and they're like, we could probably benefit from getting some sort of training, because one, they might not have an in-house marketing. They instantly think that they have to just post a picture and that's them sorted for the rest of the. We'll talk about that whole fun in a second. So what would a training session look like for you going into the business? Because I take it you would probably do it in-house with them.
Yes. So I do hold training sessions every few months, where I do like, I always keep it quite small, because I really interact with each person. 10 people, and we do a training session. It's a whole 10 till 3, and I teach you literally from the start to the end of the things that you should be doing as a social media manager for your own business, and the things you need to be focusing on to grow. And that's just kind of like a blanket. Of course, I try and tailor it in the room, like I'll be there and ask questions. But the one-to-ones are great, because I can come in and do your specific needs. So a business, we home in on, you know, your industry, what you need to do to grow, what you're doing currently, what needs to change, and I give them a full plan and teach them the ins and outs of what they should be doing. And it is really beneficial, because again, people are winging it, and a lot of the time they're like, God, I had no idea that was going on behind the scenes. Not many people know what is going on behind the scenes in social media. So there's a lot. It's not just, let's post a picture. I still
get myself confused.
Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot. And that's coming from people like us who have grown up in the social media world. Like, from a young age, we were there at the start.
We were there at the start of Facebook, there at the start of Instagram, stuff like that. From what Instagram used to be to what it is now. I'm like,
and that's what I always say to people. These platforms were never meant for business. These platforms were meant for just everyday use, for people to use, and to enjoy and entertainment. And us as businesses have used it to our advantage to then promote our businesses. But you need to do it in a smart way, because it's not a sales platform. People don't go on and say, I want someone to hammer their business in my face. Do you know, they want to go on because their missus is doing their nutting, and they want to have a scroll with something that will be funny and entertaining.
That's something I was going to ask you that, actually, because I was reading or I seen a video, and it was something to do with a lot of people now aren't buying from branded channels. What they're finding is they would rather buy from the person who owns
100%.
the business.
Yes.
So what I've always tried to say is in here, and if you look back on some of the content and things like that, I've always been quite vocal as to who I am, rather than it just being a generic studio. Because I'm like, there's a studio here, but there's a studio in Glasgow, there's studios elsewhere.
Exactly.
What I've tried to do is make it so that you're getting a more of a personal touch. That was the reason why I started this podcast as well, because I've tried to show people, like, I mean, if I can do it, you can do it, sort of idea. You know what I mean?
And I'm such a believer in that. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Why not? Do you know? I do believe in that.
And it's just, I was just looking for your opinion, what you think about that kind of statement, as to say that the whole, you know what I mean, people don't buy from branded accounts anymore. Like, branded accounts are not dead, but I wouldn't say they're dead, but
yeah, I do. I'm in my training, I will always say, no matter what business, I mean, we're talking different, like, see your Starbucks and your blah blah blah, put them out the window, Tesco, like, that's, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, real businesses with real people behind it. Social media, your account will not grow, like, zero chance of growing, if you aren't sharing the team behind it and the people behind it and the real, because it's a social platform. So why would you be interested in just saying, say it was a glasses company, just glasses, you just switch off, that's a nice pair of glasses, do not care about them, do you know, not invested. Like this studio, if you were just posting photos of the chairs,
I'd be bored.
But you're getting to know you.
I'd be like,
yeah, done. Yeah, I'm not going there.
Pure cop out, like, it's so easy.
But if I'm getting to know you, the person behind the brand, that's who I'm interested in. Oh, that's quite cool. Yeah, I like his opinions. I like the way he thinks about business. I'm quite bought into his whole brand. I want to go to him. And that stems through every single business. If you're a roofing company, like, social media, there's hundreds of roofing companies. If I click on and see hundreds of roofs, don't give a shit. But there's two guys and I'm like, oh, actually they've got quite
it's always down to the person, isn't it?
100%. And that's why you always find your niche, because some people, if that's not your type of person, that's not your type of company, fine, you've got your own clients, you've got your own customers, and as a business owner, it's your job to hammer in on who you should be targeting and who is your customer. But I agree with that wholeheartedly, because, for example, like, I do social media. If you go on my social media, it's just a lot me, because I'm the service. I'm who's given the service. I could be posting about all my client work, or just, this is how you do A, this is how you do B, but no one gives it, like, they just care. People like people. Yeah,
people buy from people.
Exactly. And I always say, no one likes a salesman, full stop, especially in social media.
I've tried not to do that with being here and being like, oh, the price of this is XYZ, whatever, and if you do this, you'll get a discount and stuff like that, because I don't do any of that sort of stuff. I'm just like, this should sell itself for people that want to use it, and people that should know that this sort of stuff will help benefit your business.
Exactly.
Putting yourself out there, doing video content creation
and teaching
stuff.
Why, so they're like, oh, that's quite a good idea. And I always say, like, one of my big tips that's in my training, that if you're writing a caption, for example, stay so clear of them. Buy this from me now. Buy now. Buy this. Sale. Get that in the bin. Be like, messages for more information, messages for a chat, drop us a message and we can tell you more. Be real people. Be like, let the person read and decide if they want to buy it or not. Don't hammer in their face to buy it. And you'll see a huge shift in, like, the type of people that come to you and want to chat, because they feel that you're a person, you're relatable, and you're not just going to, like, sell your brand and product to them.
And I think that's perfect to what you were saying about the bigger companies, because they don't have to do that.
Exactly.
People will buy from
100%.
them.
They're different.
If you're a smaller business, and I'm still meaning the people that aren't like a Nike,
of course,
a Gymshark, whatever it is, you know what I mean? They're brands that will just sell regardless. They can post a product, they can post a video. What you'll find is they'll post a video of the product, and then the next post will be like the still image of it. And I'm like, they do it so well. But I'm like, you have to think outside the box as a small business. Yeah, they're allowed to do that. They've earned their badges. They've got multi-millions behind them, like, obviously, like Gymshark's and teams of people and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're looking at them and they've got teams and teams. But as a business owner that wants to grow, and this goes for every industry, like, every industry, if you're a business owner, you need to start showing behind the scenes of it in social media, because that's what social media is there for. You need to let people into your world. And people go to me, but I hate talking. That's fine. You don't have to talk, but show images of behind the scenes, the videos, how you pack your products, how you make your products, how you show more than just the product or the service. A lot of things in the beauty industry, I work a lot with the beauty industry actually, is they just show like before and after photos.
Aye.
You would have seen it. Boring.
Been there, done that.
And everyone does it now. So how do you stand out from that? How do you grow with just posting photos of hair or lips? You can't grow like that.
No.
So you need to think outside the box and show your real self.
I feel like that's a good thing, and I would like to ask you your opinion on it as well. So we've changed now. We keep saying about it, how there's still images and things like that. It's been done. You can still do it 100%, and if that keeps you, what I mean, because I believe that you should be posting more than once a day.
Yep.
For engagement wise and stuff like that, and your branding things. If you can, don't just post nonsense and don't post absolute rubbish, but make sure it's good quality sort of stuff. But the beauty is, and obviously we were discussing why you don't have a website.
Yes.
Instagram, what I mean, socials, reels and things like that.
Yes.
Where you have that scope now, TikTok and things like that, to grow your business.
Exactly.
Which that will pretty much should do the work for you.
100%.
But it'll only do the work for you if you do the right things to do with it.
Exactly. And I always, like, the world has hugely shifted now. If people are looking for a food place in Glasgow, they'll type into Instagram or TikTok, food Glasgow, and they'll try and find the images of the food they like, or the restaurant they like, or who goes there, what influencers go there, blah blah blah.
Such a big thing.
Huge. And it's so different because obviously back in the day it was Google. You went to Google, but
looked at reviews,
websites,
and stuff like that. You'd maybe somebody post about it on your Facebook, and you'd be like, looks nice, I'll get a try.
And there is obviously an aspect of that's still important, and people do that, but it's hugely now focused on social media with everything, and that's why you need to be making sure that when these people do search Food Glasgow, you're the companies that are popping up, and you're hitting the mark to get the new clients. Because it's a search engine. They're a search engine. They all are. And you'll hear so many people like, I learned that in TikTok. I did it on TikTok. I never knew the products, but TikTok showed me. It's because people are learning from it, and they want to learn and be educated, and you need to start hammering into that. But see, when you get it right, it's gold. It's gold. Social media, but there's so many things of just winging it that it doesn't work out. No,
100%. I totally agree with you. I'm just now at that point where I'm like, if I'm not making a video, I'm like, what's the point? It doesn't have to be anything amazing. Like, so that was, again, I know I'm going off on me tangents here.
No, carry on.
I tend to do that. But what I was going to ask was, does people need to have expensive cameras to do all this sort of stuff?
So this is quite funny, right? And I'll let you into a little secret of mine.
Okay.
It's a wee cheeky secret, right? So I've got a very good iPhone, and I do believe that you need. This is my baby. This is my work, and the picture is exceptional, and the video quality is amazing. 15 plus, I think, but it's like unbelievably clear, exceptional. I love it. But I thought, maybe when I started doing content shoots, because a lot of things now I've steered just the way that, because I used to do Instagram management, and it's steered because video is huge, to now doing a lot of content shoots where I take videos. And I thought, I can't be turning up. This is just the doubt that happens in people's mind. I can't be turning up with just my phone. I'm going to look like an absolute, like, just that I'm just taking the piss out of them. That I'm taking this money just and I'm turning up with my phone. So I'm like, I'm going to invest in a camera. So I invested, and I did my research and stuff, and it was the Canon. It's really good, amazing, came with all the bits and the bobs, and I promise you now, it comes out because I take it, because I'm like, I promise I'm the real deal, I've got my stuff. But my phone takes much better quality content than the Canon. So the Canon comes for the image, but the phone is the baby. So no, I would always say invest in high quality, and some of the Androids are incredible as well. Like, do your research. They're amazing,
especially with all these new AI features and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like,
but yeah, so if you see me with a camera, I will use it occasionally if the lighting I feel needs a bit, but yeah, it's just a wee prop.
I feel like it's so good though with your phones and things like that now, because you've actually got video editing apps
exactly
on your phone.
All there.
that you wouldn't have had back in the day
No.
and things like that. And even when you're going to do like, seeing you're going to create like YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and things like that, they give you the tools.
Exactly.
I mean, see, like you were saying, people were like, I don't like to speak and whatever. That's fine, because see, when you go on Instagram and you go into YouTube shorts and you go to TikTok, they give you sounds.
Exactly. They give you
songs,
the person to speak.
trending songs that everybody's listening to. As soon as they go and search for that song, your video's going to pop up.
Yeah.
You're just like, why are you being so silly when it comes to that? Like,
I think a lot of it's like complacency, and I dare to use the word lazy because it's not, but it's like, oh, I'll get to that another time. Oh, I'll get to that. But that could actually rocket your business. Do you know? Like, so it's really not worth just sitting back on it, because, and I do believe as well, when you get complacent in business, not just social media, you can get overtaken very, very quickly. And I see it in myself. If I start to like drop the ball a little bit and I see another company, which is good, it's healthy, going for it, I'm like, I know mentally I've dropped the ball a bit, they're going to overtake me, and that's not happening. So you need to get back on it. And it's the exact same with social media. You can't drop the ball because another company will overtake you. You need to put the time and the effort into it, and do it right, obviously.
And I think that's the benefit of then hiring someone like you to do that for them. Who's got the passion, the drive for it, who's got the understanding when it comes to what actually makes a good reel and what doesn't make a good video, as such, maybe for simple terms. What makes a good video and what doesn't make a good video. And like that, would you... I'm just trying to think of your kind of day, or your day that you maybe would spend with a client. Would you record like batch content with them? Yeah,
so that's my content packages, which is really popular right now. So that's batch content. So I'll go in no matter what your business is, and I'll do 2.5 hours, and we'll do batch content. So if you're a beauty industry, they'll do like, I'll maybe ask you to get clients in for like wee snippets, wee short treatments. If you're not a beauty industry, if you're not in an industry, I'll get the background of what you're doing. I'll get you talking if you're comfortable with to talk. And I'll basically get a whole batch of content that I know works. It works in social media. And I'll put together like 6 reels that I know will work, give you the 6 reels, edit some of the content for you, and then you get the whole batch of raw content. And I'll tell you what to do with that. So you've literally got months and months and months and months worth of content. And like we said before, I believe that you need to show your face, you need to show the background of the brand, the background of the business. This is what that content package is there for. And it's hugely popular. And I love doing it. I really do love doing it because I can get right in about the business. And I think as well, when we talked about creative, I'm lucky in the fact that like I just visualise, I know what will work. I can put a whole package of a video together like in my little head. I'm like, this will work. And
you must see it from outside going, well, what would I like to see from this business or brand?
And we spoke about, which is another little tip as well, before we came on, you said you don't like to do these too long because of attention span. And that's a thing that I think people need to remember, is with your videos, your reels, people have short attention spans.
Oh, 100%.
So cut the shit, like just get what's good in and just bam it out, because the minute you start like doing that little bit clip a bit too long of the water on the table, say when you're doing a pan, people switch off. Do
you have an ideal like kind of reel sort of time or video sort of time?
I would always say try and keep it under 1 minute. But people say, do longer reels work or do shorter reels work? They both work. People like watching longer reels and shorter reels. It just like literally depends on what type of content you're given. But always, so the minute you feel that it's dragging on a little second too long, you feel that, then it's definitely dragging on. And just keep it short and snappy. Everything is social media. I always say kiss, keep it short and snappy with whatever you do.
I like that.
Yeah, kiss.
Like
because it should just be like in, say your bit and out. People aren't there to read a blog. Nah. That's Google.
Well, that's the thing. If you want to go read a blog, go and read a blog somewhere.
Exactly. That's not what social media is about.
I think as well, you have so much traffic that comes through to your socials and things like that. Like you have to have something that's going to just quickly engage somebody and how they're going to do it. And to be fair, I'm bad for it myself. Like I know there's sometimes I put out stuff and I'm like, man, like even if I was looking at it, I'd be like, I'd skip by that.
Yeah. But you know, and you learn from it, and you like, of course, like no one's perfect. Of course, even stuff like, I'm like, oh, I know why that didn't perform that well. Like, it happens, and that's and a lot of people don't post because they're like, oh, I'm too scared to put that up. That's not perfect.
Nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's going to like it. You're like,
just get it out. Like, get it out there for the world. You'll learn. You'll pick it up. But one thing when we're talking about what works and what doesn't, and we touched base on this like off camera as well, is collaboration is your key to success in social media. Full stop. If you're not collaborating, then you're not growing.
What's the point?
Yeah, you need other businesses and other people and other to grow. That's how it's basically like a bigger form of word of mouth.
Yep.
And people trust what they see is shared by their friends. You should be collaborating all the time. And I always say to people, like, I'm so open to collaborating with anyone. Like, if you want to come, like, yeah, we'll talk about something, let's do it. Like, because it's how word gets out, how your face goes onto my platform, my face goes onto your platform, and it works for every single business. And although competitors should always be in your mind, you should always have your eye on your competitors, but you shouldn't see them fully as competitors. Start maybe like thinking how you can work with them. Do you know, like that? Because obviously there's other businesses that offer social media. We could be at each other saying, I don't want to work with you, but I would love to work with them. Because then if I'm busy, I get to pass them on to that person.
It's build that network.
100%. And I always say as well that shout people loud that are doing well, because it'll come back and it will return. And with competitors, I think that's thin line of seeing them as competitors, because if you can work with your competitor and it benefits you both, then why the hell are you not reaching out to them?
I totally agree. And I have noticed it myself, especially in the past few weeks. So we did the big change in the studio. We used to have the table and things like that wasn't working, did all that sort of stuff. Since doing that, I've now started to work with more businesses and things. I think they realise it's very calm, it's very relaxed and stuff like that. Don't know, I'd still love to change a couple of things, but at the minute I'm happy with it, I'm content. But like that, I've noticed it from people I'm working with, tagging the studio and tagging me and things. I'm like, not only has my following increased, but my visibility has increased.
100%.
I'm like, I'm getting more people inquiring about it,
because
using my services.
They're
and
seeing
I'm like,
it and being like, I want a bit of that. And that's what life is.
And I'm like, and if you're not doing that, because I feel like I've done that for people that have used a studio, they know exactly who it is, and I've promoted their brand and things like that, and I've got nothing in return for it.
That's a naughty thing, and I think I experience that as well when I work with someone and it's supposed to be a collaborative experience, and then they don't do their half of the bargain, and it's supposed to work both ways. And a lot of people, just to dive in quickly to influencers, when it's like, oh, you want to work with the biggest influencers, they're brilliant, they're great, but your smaller influencers are actually probably more beneficial than your huge influencers who target the whole of the UK, for example. Maybe products different, but services, for example, if you're offering a service, why would you want some huge UK star? Because
they're not really going to have, like, do you know, they'll have an audience that will see it, yes, but they're not going to have the people that you're probably looking for to use grow, the services.
And then you need to get that base audience first, and then you can grow, and then you go UK, and then you go worldwide, blah 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 blah, and you can do all your growth. But I always think hammer in on the small influencers, because my mind has completely changed with influencers now, actually, because see the people that have just a few thousand, they've got a few thousand who listen to them, who respect them, who are in their circle. You know,
proper followers.
Yeah, proper, real. Oh, if you post something, they're interested because you've posted it.
You see that a lot, and it's funny you say that. See the ones that have like the millions and millions of followers, whatever. And I'm using, for example, it gets lost, but they'll maybe get like, I'm going to just throw numbers out here, right? They could have like 15,000 likes, whatever. Now I'm like, bear in mind, they've got 1 million followers.
Exactly.
15,000 likes, so that's like nothing.
Yeah.
And they'll have like 24 comments.
Exactly.
And then you go to somebody, like as you say, a smaller influencer, maybe the 1,000, 2,000 followers, whatever, and they've got everybody liking that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Probably even more than that because their visibility is doing brilliant.
100%.
And they've got at least 100 odd comments on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a following.
Exactly. And that's who I always think, and that's who I value as, because sometimes when I'm doing work with clients, I'll say, let's get like an influencer in. And I'm not talking all the time about your big, massive influencers. I'm talking about your area. So say Paisley. I'm talking about what kind of person you want to target, maybe young girls, 18-year-olds. Okay, let's look at the 18-year-olds in Paisley who have a strong following, not thousands and thousands and thousands. I'm talking about 5,000 followers who have got all their network is all the girls in Paisley, all the girls in surrounding Paisley.
Who was going to affect?
Yeah, that's your gold dust. You've literally just tapped into your growth. And that's not, so it didn't need to be that person with 20,000 followers, like from the other end of glass. Like, start thinking smart with it, and that probably young girl will jump at you to be like, yep, love to collaborate with you. And that's how it grows and grows and grows. So yeah, I think influencers has got a really kind of bad thought process behind it, but start thinking about that a little bit differently, because they are gold dust when you get the right one.
I hated the idea of an influencer, but see now, I'm like, if somebody is promoting your brand, yeah, they may be getting paid for it. I'm like, fair play to them for doing that.
Yeah, you've hit the jackpot.
You've hit the jackpot to get paid to work with brands.
Yeah.
And to do that, and I'm like, if anybody was listening to this and thinking I want to be an influencer, but I'm not sure how everybody would think, or I'm not sure how everybody would feel about it, and how people are going to see me, I'm like, just go for it. If you're getting paid,
100%
paid to promote a brand,
and it's actually really not easy as well. Like, I know some of the big, and it's not easy. They put in a graft for their art. It's like art, it's a job. But yeah, if you can get a job out of that, then
I struggled at first with people coming in here and like that, taking loads of pictures and stuff like that, and just
people
straight with the phone. And you know what I mean, half the time people were saying it and I was just phoning out, and I was like, because I'm like, how's this going to look on me? But I'm like, do you know what? Go for it.
100%.
Go for it, because all you're doing is you're posting my brand everywhere. I mean, you're posting that you here in my studio. It's going to bring somebody that I've never met before, that they're going to look at me in from the outside, and they're going to be like, I want to do something like that.
100%. And that's exactly how so people think, oh, I need to be posting, and that's the whole part of social media. There's not. There's a huge background of growth that goes into it, and that's your golden ticket, is collaboration. And I always say as well, again, part of the training, if you're like a smaller business, like not a cafe, like a, I don't know, children's entertainer, that just came to my head, and you've got a cafe beside you, always go in for coffee, tag their photo of the coffee you're getting, because they'll share it on their page, and you never know what their audience is like, looking, saying, who is that?
It's simple, but it's so effective.
And I'm not talking about Starbucks, obviously, because Starbucks aren't going to share your, but I'm talking about your wee...
But a lot of them have their own smaller places.
Yeah, they
like
do.
The one in Linwood has their own page, and the one in Johnson has their own page. I think that's amazing. Yeah,
and you need to start thinking about that. You just want your name everywhere. Everywhere. That everywhere is obviously good stuff. But start thinking outside the box. And that's why podcasts are incredible, because you can literally come here, get content of you speaking about what you're passionate about. It's literally content that you can use. That's gold right now. That's your way of growth.
I've tried to say that to people. I'm like, you could book in for an hour session. Now it's honestly, it's not a lot compared to what other places are. I'm like, you come in here, you could book in for the hour, and from that, say that you record at least 40 minutes worth of content and whatever. I'm like, you could literally take 41-minute clips from that.
That's you set.
That's you set for 40 weeks.
Exactly.
If you were going to post one a week.
Exactly.
I'm like, come on.
And it's real good content. It's professional. And it's like that's why I reached out to you, because I know what content works, and I know this content works. You know, like, it does work. It's
so massive at the minute. So massive. But it's like that, and there's stuff that I need to do behind the scenes that I know for visibility reasons. Like, the girls and stuff that I had in were basically saying that they searched it on Google and things like that. So that's a whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah, that
SEO
definitely. That's a whole different ballgame.
And they were like, this didn't come up, but I'm like, it's because it's not like Paisley Podcast or something like that. It's not something like that. You know what I mean? It's just Studio 23. So I need to do my homework, and I need to do my things as well.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it.
It's been a blast. I'm like mental just how quick it's went. Like,
I mean, I can talk. So, yeah.
And you were nervous before.
Yeah,
we
no, I
started,
was. I was like, oh Lord.
For somebody that promotes. Before we do finish though, is there anything that you would like to say for somebody maybe listening that why they should be using you?
I think it's so important to actually do social media right. And that's like I said, there's a whole background to that. It's not just what you post. And I think I pick up an energy very, very quickly, and I run with that business energy, because everyone's business energy is different. The way you run your business is different to the person beside you. And I think if you're looking for someone to come in and actually get your vibe of your business and let it portray across, then I'm definitely the person for you. Because I don't think any business should be the same as another on social media. I mean, for example, I talked about that a big part of my clientele is the beauty industry. I've got loads of clients that are beauty, but I would strongly say that none of them look the same. Yep. You could never be like, oh, that's Tamsin's.
You could tell it's Tamsin's work.
No, that's the business's work.
The scheme and everything.
Yeah. And a lot of companies do, and that works for them, and that's great. But that's not how. I never want that to be like, oh, that's Tamsin. No. I want that's the business's work. Because that's their vibe. But yeah, just if you want good chat and I know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. And I think that's what's needed, because people are winging it.
And for somebody listening, watching this, they want to get in touch with you, how the best to do that?
Social media. So, because we were talking about, because it's like, oh, do you have a website? And I'm the social media gal, so a lot of people do come to me via social media.
Do you know what I wouldn't have thought of that? I genuinely wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
It's just, you see a lot of the people come in, they're like, oh, I've got a website that's either been made, I've got a website
like,
and stuff
you should
I've
have
got a
that.
website, but to be honest, I hardly do anything with it because I can't. Somebody else controls it, so I can't even do anything with it. That's getting scrapped, by the way.
The website or the person?
I'm going to be making a new one.
Done. So Instagram is my heart, my soul, filtered management at Instagram, and that's how people contact me. And it's like a very open book. My Instagram, you'll see exactly what I do. You'll get a vibe of me. You'll get a vibe of my clients. So yeah, Instagram.
Brilliant. Can I thank you?
Woo! Thank you. I survived.
I know. I said you did. I'm nice and easy. I sort of say to people, I'm like, this doesn't have to be hard. This is super easy. Let's just have a chat and find out about you. And we've not seen each other in about 15 years, so
that's how we catch up.
It was nice to actually hear what you're up to and how amazing you're doing as well. As I say, I see it on socials, things like that, because you're very active. Crazy.
Do you not think that about people that we've obviously not seen each other in God knows how long, like whatever, 20 years? But I know exactly that you went to Florida. I've seen it.
But you were saying as well, like, you remember what like my mum and what it looks like, and you were saying about how where I used to live and stuff like that.
Because you just see people's lives just flashing through, and it is crazy. Yeah, it's
mental. It's mental. It's a very small world. Yeah, very, very small world.
Yep.
But listen, thank you so much for coming on. And if anybody is listening to this or watching, whether Spotify, YouTube, please feel free to drop us a wee subscribe, leave us a wee follow as well. Let us know what's your favourite platform. Yeah, we'll do a wee question thing. Let us know what's your platform of use. Was it an Instagram, TikTok, Facebook,
LinkedIn?
Probably shouldn't be. Well, I know
Twitter.
We never really touched on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn and stuff like that as well. You know what I mean? Is it one of these? And please make sure that you leave a review as well, because you can, as I say, 5 stars on Spotify. You can leave a like. You can even drop a comment as well and leave a review on the podcast. But I'm hoping for 5 stars, because
better be 5 stars.
I mean, it better be 5 stars. Or Tamsin's coming for you.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you so much, and thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, see you in the next one.